going into the first game here. Jab starting off with that mid-range druid, and StrifeCro actually leading with the warlock. And you wanted him to kind of leave this to last, but StrifeCro has actually gone for this first.
I think I talked about there being two options, either going for the handlock last and trying to get a win through that, or going for the handlock first and trying to randomly get a win against the druid or the warrior there. So there are options I feel here for StrifeCro. But if we talk a bit about the Nyms druid, you asked me what I thought about the Nyms druid. I think it's really strong. It kind of plays like Hybrid Hunter, whereas you get ahead on the board and then you just start non-stop going for phase. Don't have as much of a follow-up into the late game as the curve is very quick and the mana curve is very low. I feel like it's as strong as Hybrid Hunter, but it has that added effect of people expecting you to be playing mid-range through it, so they'll mulligan differently and play differently around your cards. And generally just be surprised. I mean, when you see Flame Juggler on turn 1, you're going to be surprised.
Yeah, it's the element surprise. Speaking of this skin, the StrifeCro actually finds a Dark Bomb off the top there, being able to slow down the ramp of this Druid. Ultimately, Druid generally has a good game against the handlock, because the mid-range pressure can be tougher at the handle with the right AoE. So far, you're a handlock specialist, you know. So this is your game. This is the match that you would know most about. The demon inclusion. What do you think of that overall?
I think it's good against the slower decks. You automatically almost beat Patron. You do better against Druid because you have more 4-drops. We talk about the generic handlock. You have 2 Mountain Giants and 2 Twilight Drakes, and if you draw none of that, you generally don't do well. But with this Demon handlock, you have the inclusion of 2 Void Callers on top of that. Unfortunately, StrifeCro doesn't have a Demon here, so things are getting a bit rougher. He may not be able to play this or take a gamble and hope that Jab possibly silences this or doesn't kill it. So I feel like it's stronger to be playing the Demon handlock. You have more outs to get strong mid-game minions, whereas you mainly sacrifice anti-aggro cards against that. Now, StrifeCro is not going to gamble. This is too important for him. And just play safely with the Hellfire. Not the best scenario, but not horrible either.
He's not going to be able to play that BGH. He needs to save that for that first Giant. So the Hellfire not being too brilliant, but it did clear up the Shaded Nax, so he did actually get rid of something. Going into turn 5 here, he just has the Sludge Belch. You're going to come down here. Still no Demon to fuel this caller, but he has some Giants coming up at least.
That belongs in a museum.
Oh, Harry coming down. Harry not going to find any weapons yet. Don't know if this has the Jiraxxus. I imagine it does, since it's a demon variation. He does have Thaurissan now. I like Thaurissan kind of reducing his hand, making these Giants a bit cheaper.
Yeah, that seems strong. This absolutely has both Jiraxxus and Mal'Ganis. I'll play this deck a decent amount. I prefer the standard handlock, as I feel like this is more of a counter deck, whereas the standard handlock is more of an all-rounder. Now, I actually feel like Druid got weaker against handlock, whereas it got stronger against Hybrid Hunter and Tempo Mage, like we talked about earlier. And the reason is that the 2-3 Darnassus doesn't do well against handlock. I mean, putting a little bit of pressure isn't that good, especially if it gets answered. That means less late game power for you now. Jap is a fantastic hand, but the minion StrifeCro has been playing just don't do that well, honestly, against this sort of thing. Now the Emperor is down and he's swiping, but is he going to innovate out the Keeper possibly even? Second swipe, alright.
Double swipe. Does clear up all the board here. He's going to take 1 damage to the Harrison, but that's not going to really bother him here. So he does clear the board with double swipe. These swipes are one of the only ways Druid has of removal, and it's it's a flat 4 damage with just a 1 spread. So when these Giants start coming down, BG8's obviously going to be able to deal with 1, but there's still 3 more Giants coming after Animal Ganis. So losing both your swipes there to kind of the mid-range minions might kind of affect the later game if StrifeCro can get into that late game. So he needs to start kind of building a bit of a wall here, but he's not finding any taunt activators.
Yeah, I mean, if there's some method to tapping here with the Mountain Giant, I don't really like the Ooze. I guess he's figuring if he has Big Hunter, he can still trade into the Harrison.
Yeah, and it could bait out a Keeper of the Grove if Jab feels he still needs to fight. But he actually just finds the Wrath as well, so he has 2 answers to deal with this. So he has Wrath, Big Game Hunter. He could even go for a 1 damage Wrath with a hero power as far as I can see. So he does get some card draw and a full board clear, so this is looking pretty nice for Jab.
I actually think in this case he has to go for the Sweater and Big Game Hunter. I don't feel like there's time to go for the Wrath and hero power here.
No? You think he just needs to keep putting pressure on the board?
It's interesting. If he had the Saboteur, absolutely. He doesn't have the Saboteur here, so he's just going to hero power. It's tricky. It really is tricky. I feel like there's going to be other... Like if you have the Wrath still in hand, you could possibly even threaten a Mountain Giant with Wrath and Big Game Hunter, but Dr. Boom is good here. I feel, yeah. StrifeCro is not getting punished by not tapping last time, but things are getting really tricky here. Let's say if he just goes for the Dr. Boom here. You know, what can he really do then? Maybe Jab is also playing around the possibility of Shadow Flame. That may have been it. The reason behind that Wrath.
You've seen one Hellfire already. Hellfire would clear up this board pretty nicely. Puts him pretty low. Dr. Boom just seems kind of the go-to play here. You draw Boom, you play Boom, right? But he still has no taunt activators. That's kind of what he really needs to find. He hasn't been able to set any real defense. That double swipe taking care of that Sludge Belcher pretty easily. So
the thing is, yeah, he has 16 health, so he'll die to Force of Nature. Or be in a lot of trouble against through the Claw even. So he's gonna go for Heal Bot and Twilight Rig.
See, sometimes
order, yeah.
Sometimes you just don't slam Boom. Sometimes you gotta consider other things, right? Ancient
I mean, with both the Big Game Hunter and the Silence, things just aren't looking as good for StrifeCro as they could be. Now, he has at least kind of some time now with this Heal Bot.
What to do?
And Jab is almost forced to go for the Ancient of Lore here, trying to draw into a combo, but is Jab now going to either commit to a huge board that would be very vulnerable to Shadow Flame, or is he going to trade and kind of throw his tempo lead away, or is he going to just go non-stop face and then almost threaten lethal, but it doesn't have the isn't able to draw the Savage Roar? He's going to be in a lot of trouble. I don't know, this is tough.
And this is what makes fighting handlock complicated sometimes, kind of understanding what you have to do to kind of win, or kind of what direction you want to go with. Because if you put, if you had double Molten in hand, the Molten's coming up, and a Flood Activator, it looked pretty bleak, but he's only got 4 cards in hand, we don't have the cards he's got in deck, and you said he hasn't been tapped Mercy, so he's not drawing all the resources he needs. He finds a Doom Guard here, but you'll be able to contest against both these minions if he decides to go for it, but what do you throw away? Do you think he has time to play the Void Color here with a Giant? Oh no, he can't play a Giant, sorry, my bad. So do you think he has... Did you think he just played Dr. Boom here, or do you have to tap? Or how do you feel? You're the specialist.
I feel like he survives both. He survives Force of Nature even if he taps. So he should just play greedy and go for the Dr. Boom. Now, if you're ahead, then you're generally rewarded by playing conservative as handlock. But if you're behind, you're generally rewarded by playing recklessly and playing greedy. But he top decks the Savage Sword and he's going to take game number 1. So this, I guess, kind of was the deck StrifeCro was looking to beat with handlock. You can also beat the Patron, I guess, in the end. But
yeah, Jab picks up 1-0 lead. No, Fast Road having its kind of good matchup against the handlock variations that are going around right now. StrifeCro, we weren't expecting, or you weren't expecting it when I asked you about it, to lead with the handlock, but he did decide to. So going forward now, he has a Patron to take out. It's a mid-range hunter. So would you just keep playing the Warlock till you find a win here, or do you kind of switch things up to get some more favorable matchups?
I talked a bit about the Warlock, and I said he was either going to start with it or end with it. There's not going to be any mid-series play with Warlock, I felt, because it needed to either be a surprise to try to get the Patron or Druid into a matchup early, or just end with it and get 3 tries with it. Now, I feel like Jab might think that StrifeCro is going to go for Warlock again, so he might go for the Hunter. So I think StrifeCro might do okay with going for the I guess for the Paladin, but I feel like Paladin might have been a good start for StrifeCro as well, as it has a good matchup both against Druid and against the Hunter.
It actually looks like Jab is going for the Hunter here, so he is looking for that read on the Paladin. No, sorry, the Druid, and StrifeCro has gone Druid, so he's going to match up mid-Hunter against mid-Druid. So how much do you think this matchup has changed with the inclusion of the new cards?
It's tricky. It's really tricky, actually. I feel like Hunter isn't doing as well against Druid now. Thanatos is strong against mid-range Hunter as well, as you generally don't want to be coining out a bow, you want to be coining out a Savannah. Druid still has no reasonable answer to Savannah, and kill command is still godlike against Druid, but now Druid has another option against Freezing Trap, and possibly even against Mad Scientist, which Druid didn't have before, so... Yeah, I felt it was like 70% chance to win with the Hunter before, but maybe like 55 now.
So in comparison to the Hybrid Hunter, which you felt the Druid has got more options, mid-range Hunter is a slower variation and does have Dr. Boom and Houndmasters and stuff like that, so a lot more mid-rangey stuff. So going from mid-range Hunter being really strong against Druid, TGT is kind of even things out a little bit, and we do see him queued. Oh, well, this isn't mid-range Druid, is it? It's Nymphs Druid, I forgot. So that's a whole different matchup altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you... I haven't really played much in Nymphs Druid, so I can't really comment on it. Have you played it enough to kind of know how this matchup is going to go, or can you make any predictions?
It plays similarly to Hybrid Hunter, and I feel like this is going to be in the favor of StrifeCro here.
Okay, so you think faster deck, right?
Yeah, it's generally just faster. You put on more pressure. You have a lot of answers to the Freezing Trap, and you can just ignore the Savannah. Generally, mid-range Hunter just boils down to, can you deal with Savannah? If you can't, you generally just lose. If you can, you generally win. So Aggro Paladin, for example, the counter to mid-range Hunter. You play a Savannah against Aggro Paladin, they just completely ignore it. Mid-range Hunter, also another counter to... No, mid Paladin, also another counter to Hunter. You just generally outdraw the Savannah and you win. And also kind of ignore it, but Living Roots, Mark of the Wild, 80s is perfect.
Yeah, StrifeCro seems to have a nice curve going on, a lot of answers. Getting a turn 1 Living Roots as well, getting those 2 1-1s to put pressure on. Jab does find the Web Spinner. StrifeCro finds a ramp, so... Do you go Living Roots still? Do you coin this out to ramp? How do you feel? Would you feel you go with this play now?
It's tough. I don't mind it either way. I kind of like StrifeCro's idea here. It gets punished by Quick Shot, but not much else.
Yeah, we're not going to really see Abusive Sergeant come down in a mid-range Druid, and Web Spinner is usually enough to tell you that this is mid-range Druid. You don't really see them in the hybrid. Some lists have been running them, but it's not been a consistent inclusion in a deck builder. And so Jab here has 2 options. He has a Mad Scientist and the Haunted Creep. Haunted Creep is a stickier minion, but Mad Scientist might find him a trap he needs. I quite like... If he knows what he's playing against, I think I prefer the Haunted Creeper here.
I guess there are options from the spinner you can maybe look at, but he goes for the Mad Scientist, and I don't blame him for this. Now, 80s should be coming down here. The Summer to, I guess, Mark of the Wild and Living Roots.
So Jab is definitely running Freezing Traps, right? So if he trades up, a Freezing Trap's going to come down, and Idris is going to have to bounce into that Freezing Trap. So that's another thing for him to consider, I suppose.
Mark of the Wild might keep the Danasis alive for next turn, though. That might mean a possible keeper on turn 3 for StrifeCro. Should be strong.
I wonder.
Looking at Living Roots, but how is he going to tackle this, though?
So if you Living Roots this and it's a Freezing Trap, the Daenerys just bounces and he's on 3 mana next turn and kind of resets the board, I suppose. But it's his turn to take the initiative. I don't think Living Roots really accomplishes that.
Mark of the Wild, I think you get 2 roots and go face. It's my play here, anyhow. And StrifeCro seems to agree now. You start with the damage, you try to possibly keep it alive, the Danasis I mean. And now there's an option to possibly silence the Danasis and then bounce him. next turn.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Wait, where are the Groots?
He used the damage and killed the mad scientist with the living roots.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So he keeps his 4/4 alive and it's sitting there. And the secret
Oh,
is
that's
that
the heifer. Wow. That's disaster, but he can still play 80s and be ahead on the board, but there's going to be no spell to use her ability. This has to be 80s, yeah.
So secret is Poison Trap has been confirmed. So this she's gonna bounce potentially unless Jab decides to clear it. He does have a Jungle Panther. He does have an Argent Horse Rider now. So even though this seems more mid range so far, he's using this Argent Horse Rider. It seems to be finding its way into all the Hunter archetypes.
Generally, just a strong card. There's nothing to say about that, I guess. There's the option to do the Saber, but I actually wouldn't mind Savage Combatant and just going face here. You can absolutely just raise a mid-range hunter here as the druid.
I think he agrees here, bounces this back to his hand. Savage Combatant's going to make a nice bodied threat here, but also makes that hero power a lot more threatening as well, letting you to trade efficiently, but also letting you to allowing you to race and squeeze in that extra damage. So a 5/4 body with a nice little hero power effect is looking to come down. But StrifeCro taking his time, just kind of considering what might be following up next on Jab, but also other options he could have available to him.
I actually think that StrifeCro realized that he misplayed. He could have gone for the Druid the Saber, attacked in, procced the freezing trap, and then hero powered on the Argent Horse Rider. I feel like that's going to be stronger than what he went for.
Oh yeah, because it's got the charge form, right? So yeah, that would have been excellent, and he would have gained a charge minion back. So if any other freezing traps came up, or a minion he needed to trade in, he'd still have that charge available to him. So yeah, maybe that's why StrifeCro hesitated a little bit there, and kind of thinking maybe that wasn't as great as I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, StrifeCro technically should have known what traps were in Jab's deck, just because his matches were, televised before, and there's no reason not to check those out, I guess. But yeah,
So now Jab's got quite a board build, and he's sitting on this one Savage Combatant, and the hero power boost doesn't let him get any value trades here, because the creeper will just spit out some more creepers. One stealth, one has Divine Shield. So going forward, he could play low fab if he wanted to get another big body in the floor on the field. But he also does have the option of Living Roots, the Saber, hero power, so you can throw a lot of resources away. But I think I just like low fab here. Drop that big 5/5, lock out some spells, and maybe put some pressure on the face here.
Yeah, you can absolutely just go for this. He's still thinking about it though. If he was going to trade, he should have gone Keeper with it. But yeah, now either Jab can go face, and then StrifeCro has all of the tools to demolish his board with Living Roots and Keeper, or StrifeCro can just, Jab can just trade into him, and that's fine for StrifeCro. Completely fine.
And this is a more aggressive Druid deck than what we're used to seeing in this tournament. We've seen a lot of mid-range Druid packing like Ancient of Wars and your kind of traditional stuff, whereas StrifeCro is playing the Nymph Druid. So he has the options to be more aggressive because he has more reach with his Living Roots and his charge minions, which normal mid-range Druid doesn't have. It looks like Jab develops the Knife Juggler here. He does have a Houndmaster, so maybe he's hoping to find a cheeky knife somewhere. Or he does have... Oh no, the Hounds have been locked out in low fab. So are you going to be trading here as the Hunter, or are you going to be aggressive yourself?
It's safer to trade, less likely to win you the game. Just going face is fine, but yeah. Like trading is the safe option, but less likely to win. Going face is riskier, and he's gonna go for the risky play, but it doesn't look like it's gonna pay off here.
Yeah, nice silence to queue up onto this Haunted Creeper, blocking out that Death Rattle as well, so that'll be really effective for him. He does get the Empowered Hero Power if he wants it as well, so he's a Juggler, Panther, even the Houndmaster with just the hero power alone, but he still takes some damage to the face, so the pressure Jab is putting on will definitely complement his hand here, having that Unleash the Hounds and the kill command, sorry. So, Jab is not too far away from finishing off. He finds some more aggressive options, but StrifeCro's got the initiative here.
Druid of the Saber, though, I don't like this.
You think
He could have just used the living roots and saved the Druid of the Saber for a possible Savage or combo, or just hero powered and killed the Handmaster. I felt like this was either going to be living roots or hero power, but StrifeCro seems to disagree here. Is he going to go face? I think he is going to go face, yeah.
And also the Druid of the Saber lets you proc a freezing trap and kind of reduces the effectiveness of it. He picks up another kill command.
Double kill command. Wow, this is lethal, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, and he's going to take it with a kill command off the top there.
Oof, that's disgusting.
What a top deck from Jab there, taking a 2-0 lead over StrifeCro. So, much like our last series, Hotfun was able to take a 2-0 lead over Hyped. So, StrifeCro had some work to do to get back into this game. So, how do you feel about the match now with just Jab having Patron left over? Last time we had Tempo Major, Patron's a whole different ballgame.
I'm mostly curious about the play with the 80s by running her into the freezing trap instead of going for the possibility of, I guess, running the Druid of the Saber. I think that might possibly have shifted the game into StrifeCro's favor. It would be hard to tell. May need to look at the replay for that. But yeah, now Jab has the win with the Hunter like we were talking about. This is now, I think the first matchup is quite even for the Warlock and Druid. But now Druid versus Hunter, I feel like this was even favored for StrifeCro as he's playing the Nymphs Druid. So this is just disaster for StrifeCro. I think Jab is going to take this now.
Yeah, that Patron Warrior. Yeah, that Patron Warrior needs to win one game. He has 3 opportunities here. StrifeCro is actually going to be queuing up the Warlock, so we kind of want that good matchup going forward, trying to get some momentum back, get some wins on the table. Sometimes as a player, I think you need to just snag that easy win if you can, just to build some more confidence so you can take the series. And there's a lot of pressure on these players. You know, there's a lot on the line going to the World Championship and playing on the biggest stage of Hearthstone this year. So there's a lot of pressure on these players, even pro players.
Absolutely, yeah. But now StrifeCro will need to beat the Patron with Mid Paladin and Nymphs Druid. The Nymphs Druid can do great against Patron if he gets the Innovate, but without the Innovate it's really rough. It's kind of like a hybrid Hunter. If you have a lot of removal, you just fall apart. If your opponent has a lot of removal, I mean, against that Druid, you just fall apart. That you don't have the Ancient of Lore to power you through in the late game. But yeah, Handlock versus Patron should be an easy win for the Handlock. Having the coin helps out, and actually, I kind of like Firebat's idea in this matchup. He just says, you just keep Deathbite and you equip it and go face. And that's how you win this matchup.
Get that Deathbite and win with it. No, even though this is a good matchup for the Handlock, Patron is still got the opportunity to win if he gets a good frothing combo. He can still close out the game. But a player like StrifeCro, a player of his experience, will know not to give these patrons enough minions to spawn a massive frothing combo. So it's going to be a little bit harder for Jab to get a win here. How do you like these hands so far? What would you throw away and what would you keep?
I think I'm keeping the Deathbite by throwing the rest away for the Patron and throwing everything away with Handlock. Yeah, that's what we saw from Jab at least. I think in this matchup it generally comes down to, does the Patron draw a god hand? Or a god-like hand? Just an unstoppable sequence of cards, and if that's the case, you win. Or does the Handlock draw completely dead, and then you just kind of lose? You just, as the Handlock, you just draw, you know, Shadow Flames and Heal Bots and yeah, big game Hunters and Molten Giants even, and you just lose. That happens sometimes. But I feel like if it's generally quite even and the draws on both sides are mediocre or the Handlock draws are good, I feel like the Handlock just wins. So if both players draw well, then I feel like Handlock wins. If both draw equally mediocre, then the Handlock wins. But there is, I guess, that possibility for Patron just to draw everything he could ever need, and then he wins no matter how good the handlock draws generally.
Alright, so looking at StrifeCro's hand, he's got that Hellfire, so he does have AoE ready, locked and loaded for anything that Jab throws at him with the Patron boards. Would you say either of these players have winning hands?
It seems to be both hands are slightly above average, and I'd favor StrifeCro here actually. Obviously there's so much draw in Jab's hand, we don't know exactly how this is going to pan out, but I like the idea of Slam Execute. That seems strong.
These executes, they are the only way these patrons can kind of hard remove stuff. And the 4/9 body is a bit troublesome right now for the patron. A lot of his minions are quite small. So being able to get rid of this is usually a good thing. And you get to draw a card as well for the slams. You get to play towards that game plan of just drawing more cards and just trying to get a combo. But it looks like Jab is not bothered by this Twilight Drake at all. And he's going to be going on the aggressive here. Does he follow Fire Bat's advice here and go face?
I think you go face with the minions for sure. Not sure about this idea here. He's gonna coin out the Execute, which would surprise me, yeah. So he wants to save the Execute for a Giant. I don't blame him. Maybe you can take this damage right now. This is fine as well. Not as aggressive, I guess, but it's something. Now StrifeCro has the option, I guess, to tap and go for a Giant. I don't mind that. Seems strong.
Yeah, he's going to get that big body down, and sometimes it's really hard for Patron to deal with the pressure the Giants have unless they find those extra. He has one, but he has another Giant coming up, and I've seen matches where these handlock players just punch loads of damage out in the mid game because the warrior just can't deal with the big bodies, and StrifeCro does have a lot of big bodies available to him. So I don't know, is Giant just straightforward here, or do you feel a silence maybe to stop the card draw? I mean, card draws are just so important for Patron.
It's only one draw, and throwing a whole turn at that is too much in my opinion. In terms of the Armor Smith, I'm curious about this.
Alright.
Maybe his idea is that he figures that Jab doesn't have the Execute, so he can get some pressure on. As a handlock, I feel favored in this matchup, so I don't feel I need to be taking these sorts of risks. I can just play passive and be okay. Now he's gonna get so much draw. Jab is, I think, he possibly wanted to just attack into the Acolyte.
Oh wow, so he gets 2 draws from the Acolyte. He then can Battle Rage for 3 more draws, and then he can coin Execute from what I can see. So that's an amazing turn for Jab, cycling through his deck, finding those combo pieces, and dealing with the board, and leaving more card draw on the field as well. So things looking really good for Jab here.
I think to note though is even if he coins out the Execute, StrifeCro can actually make him overdraw with his mortal coils. It's possible.
Yeah, he's got the Thorson though. He's got Thorson, he's got Throbbing, he has Warsong Commander, he has pretty much everything he needs to kind of deal the damage to StrifeCro. So is the overdraw that much of a big deal?
Not really. He generally only cares about the second Execute and the second Whirlwind right now. It's the only card that actually matter to him. But yeah, I mean, let's say that StrifeCro just kills that. Yeah, if he just kills that Acolyte instead, then Jab would have like 3 more armor and 2 less cards right now. I think that actually might matter a lot.
Looks like Dart Bomb's going to clear it last. Acolyte does clear the board, just make him overdraw. Just overdraws the shield block. Not much of a problem there. Forrest being slammed down here. Going to get hit so many cards as well, and so many important cards to note as well. So Jab is looking pretty good right now, even though this is a bad matchup. I'm kind of in favor of Jab just because of all the cards he hit with Forrest and all the draws he got.
I guess, yeah, we think about it. So the Acolyte got him an extra.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, the Acolyte what got him an extra Whirlwind and Slam. I think those were the cards that he just drew.
Yeah.
He would be okay without them, I guess. The Whirlwind is massive, the Slam isn't that big. I don't know, he has no taunt really. So is StrifeCro gonna tap now? I don't even know. This is looking rough.
Is he? If he can't taunt up, is it potential for Jab to finish the game off next turn?
I think so, yeah. I actually don't see the mana total, so it's a bit rough to tell at the moment.
Who had the coins?
Oh, this is nice. I believe Jab had the coin, yeah.
Oh wow, that's some high level stuff for in there. Cycling your own owl there to try and find something to help you out. But this might actually be over now. Jab might have enough damage to actually finish him off, and Jab sits up in his seat, gonna do some maths really quickly to see if he can actually finish off StrifeCro and take a 3-0 win, and that is huge for a player like Jab.
I think it's gonna be close, yeah.
Let's have a look. So War Song, that's 2. I can't see.
How much mana does he have? He has 7 mana, right?
7 mana, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, then it's enough, yeah.
Oh, for sure, with the Froth in.
Easily, yeah. Has the slams as well, the 1 extra damage. Can also just go for the Despite for 4 damage there. So 7, yeah, 8, 12, 16, yep.
So Jab is about to take a 3-0 lead over StrifeCro. He's going to be so happy with this win. Not only does he progress into the round of 16, if I believe. Is it the round of 16? Yeah, the round of 16 in winner's side. He also takes out one of the North American titans of the scene. So very well played for Jab there. How do you feel about this overall series?
Wait. Okay, so the
he
Despite is showing a screen for us. Did he not have enough mana to play that?
Oh wait, he
Did
didn't actually
possibly
finish.
get nervous?
Oh yeah, it was showing green. That's strange. He's still got 1 mana left. So
Oh wait, okay, so the War Song was 2, Frothing 2, Ghoul, that's 5 mana. The Ghoul was 1 mana, we're confused here by the spectator bugs here at 0. Now, you can trade in if he gets some Mal'Ganis, he can also Hellfire. Possibly, but now he is a Defender of Arcus. This is... Yeah, I mean... Did Jab possibly miss it?
Oh man, I was calling StrifeCro out there, and now StrifeCro is fighting back. I don't know if Jab misplayed, or it was just kind of a visual thing for us, but it didn't actually look like lethal for us. But now he's actually going to be able to taunt up, so we were just calling StrifeCro out, and now he's fighting back with a giant taunt wall. Will Jab find what he needs to finish this game?
I mean, there's no direct damage. There's no Mortal Strike here.
So shield slam. Oh, so he's got some card draw. Does he run the shield slams? And does it even matter? Does he even have enough armor to really kind of punch through some of this stuff? This is a really threatening board from StrifeCro. So if Jab doesn't find some answers to at least a few of these minions, the pressure will be on, and Mal'Ganis coming down the next turn as well.
I think it's Slam now. There's no question for me. You go for the Slam. Did Jab perhaps just miscount? I think he may have just miscounted, possibly.
What was he missing from that to actually get that last 2 damage?
The 1 mana for the Despite, I guess. Yeah, maybe he was just banking on getting something. I mean, there's so many outs that he had. Inner Rage being one of them, Whirlwind. Any Armor Smith would do, I guess. Oh, he gets the War Song. That's the big piece he really needed here. Now, is this not going to be lethal? No. 21. He can go for a draw.
Wait, so he's got 16, 21, 20. He's got 23 with Mal'Ganis. He's going to buff up the Doomguard, right?
Yeah, but that's not lethal though.
There's now his 1 off. He's just.
He can go for the draw though. With the Hellfire, yeah. Be funny. Maybe the first draw of the tournament.
Goes for the draw. Is it really worth going for a draw though? You're playing to win, right? And you're looking pretty comfortable.
Well, you were just almost out of it. I mean, 1 more damage back and forth, you were just out of it there.
So Mal'Ganis now needs to be taken out in order for Jab to win. So he's used.
I believe this. Might be... Without an Execute, I don't see him actually making this happen. Would a Woe be enough? Frothing is not enough, I believe.
Oh, he's gonna have to shield block, cycle through. Because now not only did you have to kill the 9/9 and the 5/5, you need to take out the Mal'Ganis as well. So, oh, he does find a Whirlwind. How much mana does he have left? Does he have 7? Seven mana.
No.
So, not a lot going on here. Wow, so we were calling StrifeCro out. Well, I was especially calling StrifeCro out. I thought he'd finish it off. But StrifeCro actually managed to come back here and take a game with one of his good matchups. You know, so StrifeCro got the momentum here. He can actually take the series. We can't count him out yet. You know, he's a player of that skill level.
I'm very curious about his idea with attacking into the Armor Smith instead of attacking into Aquablad. I felt it was stronger to attack into the Aquablad because it denies a lot of cycle, which Jab actually ended up getting. Now he has the Patron still. Start going to win with the Druid and the Paladin. This one was the easy one out, I guess, against the Patron. Now come the hard 2 matchups, the Druid and the Paladin. So it was really close in the easy one. Could this possibly just be the end of StrifeCro here?
It could,
in the winner's bracket?
It could, but StrifeCro, you know, he's just shown us he's not out of the game yet. Jabber's very close to finishing it off. He's actually going to queue into his Druid, into the Warrior this game, so he'll have his mid-range Paladin left if he manages to win with this Druid. So if he can get some really good early pressure, and maybe Jab gets a kind of a nap hand, he could get that win. But the mid-range Paladin versus the Patron, it's not brilliant, right?
No, not really. StrifeCro thinks it's decent, so I think he isn't feeling horrible about it. Historically, it's been favored for the Patron. Depends a lot on the draw. I feel like if you get the equality, obviously you can deal with the Patron board. And according to him, Murloc Knight is a very strong card against Patron, and I don't blame him there.
Does he run the secrets at all? He doesn't run the challenges. It's just like straight up traditional kind of mid-range Paladin.
Yeah, it's the old school version with Tyrion and Murloc Knight and Aldors and all that good stuff.
Okay, and then StrifeCro is used mid-range Paladin quite a lot during its life, especially when GVG came out. So he has a lot of experience with that deck. So maybe he feels just a bit more comfortable going into kind of a tournament of this magnitude. And yeah, so just going with that comfort pick there. So looking at the hand here, we see an Acolyte of Pain and Stable Ghoul Battle Rage. So we've got some card draw and some stall. What about StrifeCro? What do you want to keep here?
I'm actually interested to see what it does keep. I've only played this deck for 2 days myself. And it went about 50-50. It generally won very early, or didn't win at all. But yeah, I'm wondering, like, when do you keep Azure Dragons? They're always going to be a top scenario later in the game. The Saber seems very strong. Honestly, you can trade even with a Shredder. You can just keep it on board. You can have a Shade going as well, and you can build up a very... Oh wait, not Shade, what am I talking about here? But you can trade with a lot of stuff you generally can't trade with a Juggler. Mark of the Wild, wow, this is massive actually. Mark of the Wild plus Viola or 80s gives you either 3 damage at a random enemy or a Divine Shield if you go for Viola. If you go for 80, sorry.
Speak to me.
Interesting scenario, yeah. We're going for Aquablad in Rage that does trade with the Jungle Panther. I'm pretty sure. I'm interested to see which one he goes for.
Which one would you prefer? I think I'd prefer the Divine Shield, right? So you get the Taunt and the Divine Shield, so it's just 2 problems that Jab will have to deal with.
The thing is, though, possibly he might be thinking, I'm going to be going for a 3-4, then a Shredder, and then another 3-4 with Mark of the Wild. So maybe I'll actually throw away the one I don't want now, because that could die to a Death Spite, and I'll keep the one I want to actually use for turn 5. for the combo with Mark of the Wild, so that's a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
I mean,
Because,
generally the 3 damage wouldn't be good against the Enormous Inventor or the Armor Smith, and who would play an Aquablad into that, I guess.
yeah, and you know, they're not going to at this level. So yeah, just dropping this one first, just as a bit of bait for the Death Spite or any removal, and then you've got the one that really matters coming up on turn 5. Your Shredder on 4 is just brilliant, so there's no reason why you wouldn't play that.
Pass me that arc light spanner.
So he does go for Dark Bane here, followed with Enormous Inventor. I mean, if he does hit with the Dark Bane, he can possibly do Hero Power and finish off that 2-4. It's an option, I feel. Obviously, be weak to execute. There's not going to be many strong targets to execute. There is one Dr. Boom in this Druid deck. That shouldn't be a worry right now.
Or you could play Aspirant and Power of the Wild, and then he just trades in clean.
Guide my lads.
For the 3-2 Panther, probably. I mean, just 2 1-1 buffs wouldn't be that strong. Could buff and trade, I guess, but still, it dies to execute.
I guess this way you get the execute out on this guy, and then next turn you've got the Mark of the Wild on the other angel. So that's kind of what he was leading towards. And you keep your ramp alive, right? You kind of give your ramp a bit more durability. But this whole board dies to Death by execute, right?
It does, but no weapon in hand for a jab here. Could he possibly just need to slam? Is that maybe what he needs to do here? He could slam Whirlwind next to him, I guess, but that would use a lot of resources to just simply clear a mediocre board. But I mean, technically, Frothing, Warsong, and Battle Rage all need to be saved for later stage in the game. So if we think about the scenario for StrifeCro, having Jab at 30 health is not where he wants to have him at. I mean, you want to be going for a Savage Combatant, build up maybe 3 minions, start going to face non-stop. You don't want to be trading or like setting up for these types of scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. This is a more aggressive version of Druid, so he needs to be putting on pressure, much like the Hybrid Hunter, like you said, needs to be putting on that early life pressure, that early board pressure as well. And StrifeCro hasn't really had an opportunity to do that yet. And Jam's sitting on 30 health, still kind of drawing cards, still gaining resources. StrifeCro's going to need to start making some magic happen here. And he still can't actually take out this Armor Smith without using his Hero Power or the Mark of the Wild. And if he decides to go for that combo turn, which we were talking about, he doesn't have enough mana to clear out the Armor Smith. So where'd you go here? Just play Shredder and Hero Power?
It's a tough call, honestly. I think that may be possibly the play, but it's weak still. I think what we have to figure here is in this deck, you don't have an Ancient of Lores, so you have 2 Azure Drakes and Rast, and that's going to be all of your draw in this game. So, yeah, you could possibly top deck a Living Root, you could top deck an Innovate, possibly another Darnassus, and those cards would almost be dead. I think he figures that he'll just need to get this Light Bane rolling, or it's going to be lights out. I think he's kind of all in on this Light Bane working right now. Yeah. But generally, you want to have a 3-4 on the board, then you use Mark of the Wild and get a good trade. You don't want to be. This is kind of like using, let's say, Shielded Mini Bot and Kings on the same turn. You don't want to be doing it like that. You want to be using Kings as a charger. That's where the value comes. So you have a Divine Shield, then kill a 5 attack minion or a 5 health minion and have a 5-6 left. You don't want to be doing it like this. But StrifeCro is just behind, so he has to do something.
Kind of high risk, high reward. That's what he probably has to go for here. He needs to start putting some pressure on that life total if he's ever going to close out this game. Jab, on the other hand, has found some nice little tools to set up a patron board if he chooses. But it looks like he's actually just going for Robin Whirlwind here. Ah, interesting. Is he going to go for the Rage? Or no, he's going for the Battle Rage. Okay, so he's just trying to draw more cards. So it looks like he does want to wait until he can use this Warsong Commander. And using that Inner Rage to slow down the ramp. So he's slowing down StrifeCro a lot, and he's just gained back the 2 health of the 3 he lost last turn. So again, no pressure on his life being made yet.
Yeah, and actually this druid here is much weaker to the Grim Patron card than the standard mid-range druid. As you do run 1/1 tokens, you do run 2 attack minions in a bigger amount than is the usual scenario. I feel like this is borderline unplayable for StrifeCro right now. I think possibly Savage Roar, Hero Power killing the Frothing might be your best play, and then coming to face with the Lightbane. It's still so weak. You don't have the combo then. Maybe he's thinking about getting a second Savage Roar, but at this point, I feel like Sweater Hero Power just loses you the game. He gets the trade into the 5/6, and he's at,
Time waits for no one.
best he's at 25 health.
And it looks like he agrees with you.
Yeah.
Needs to kind of take the initiative here with the Savage Roar, continue putting pressure on, or it's going to be light sight for StrifeCro. Jabbed, going to take 7 to the face here, but Armsmith is still in play and still active, so he still has many options to gain more health back, while StrifeCro is kind of just drawing 1 card a turn at the moment. Maybe he needs to find Ancient of Laws. Does this deck run Ancient of Laws?
No Ancient of Laws, sadly. There's 2 Acid Drakes, but even an Acid Drake might not be enough at this point. Yeah, I feel like this is kind of... I've said it before, but I feel like it's kind of like the Hybrid Hunter. If you have a strong early curve, and if you don't get a lot of damage to face, you just generally fall behind and lose. And we kind of saw this happen in the Hype series, where if you didn't get the best start, it just often kind of fizzled slowly, especially against Patron. Living Roots, yeah, this is the sort of scenario you can have happen. Living Roots is almost dead. Technically, actually, you can Living Roots on Lightbane, get a Divine Shield, and trade into Emperor Thorson. It's a spell that you target. The StrifeCro actually see this? This would be maybe the beginning of a comeback. He has to see this, yeah. So you can Hero Power face, drop the Sweater, Living Roots on Lightbane, and kill the Emperor for free.
And he forces a response through Execute or Death Spite to be able to
he loses
clear
to both those things anyway, so it's no risk. Wait, whoa.
He doesn't see it.
He doesn't see it. Poor StrifeCro. He doesn't see it.
So now this opens up this 5/6 to Taskmaster. It looks like he actually just doesn't care about this Horizon. He's just going to go on the aggressive by the looks of it.
It's almost impossible to defend going for this over Living Roots on Fiola and killing the 5/5. Because now Fiola dies. In the other scenario, Fiola is alive with 4 health.
There's still a chance it'd stick around if he didn't have Execute. You'd still need something. You'd need to find an answer from hand to be able to deal with it.
What I mean though is getting 1 damage is no problem with a 6-card hand, but getting 4 damage might be a little bit more tricky, especially if you don't have a 5/5 on the board. But yeah, I mean,
You've questioned a few of StrifeCro's plays in this series.
He looked better when I casted him day 1 on Saturday, honestly.
Do you know, he's had a lot going on recently. He's got this tournament. He's had Archon Team League as well. So maybe he's just feeling a bit worn out and just not playing to his full potential at the moment.
He played fantastically there, actually. Yeah.
Oh, he does find the Execute. So this is all going in Jab's way now. He can just keep trading, just keep dealing with the board. StrifeCro's just going to be top decking. Finds a Patient Assassin actually, so he can
But think about it, how much this Emperor Thorson is going to do for Jab. I mean, okay, let's be fair, StrifeCro is probably going to lose this game anyway with his hand. But this may actually set him, taking out his last hope there. The Patient Assassin is really good here, but it might still not be enough.
If he just takes out the Forson, he just Hero Powers and passes, or he Savage Roar and clears the War Song, and then he gets rid of his second Savage Roar, so he just kills one of his win conditions. It's just looking so bleak.
I think he has to kill the Thorson, go Hero Power face, and then possibly top deck something of a follow-up, possibly. Still, even if he combos to face, it's still not gonna be enough. He's gonna be at probably what is it, 23 health if he hero powers. Even more if he has the shield block. I don't even know.
All right, Jab, this is your opportunity to finish off StrifeCro soon. You can shield block now for cycle. You can set up the Death Spite for next turn. He still has another draw coming as well. The following turn, which will... Oh, he's got Battle Rage as well. So he's even got more card draw coming out the following turn. He can actually... Well, you can use one of the patrons as well, I suppose, if you want, right? Or is he just going to play it safe? It looks like he's just playing it safe.
Yes, no need to risk anything at 28. Swipe is a good card to draw here, actually. As he kind of needed to start to get something going, but still playing it passive. He doesn't have an option to go face when Jab is at 28. This is StrifeCro's last legs here.
So Warsong's going to come down, Patron, you can hit with Weapon, get some Whirlwinds going off, draw loads of cards, and with the Battle Rage, maybe find another Inner Rage, another Whirlwind effect, and then just kind of take the game here. It's just looking so tough. Does he actually just have Lethal with this?
He does, yeah.
So, let's just make sure this time, because last time I was wrong, and I don't embarrass myself once again, right? So, it looks like Jab is already celebrating. He's just chilling out, enjoying this win. So Jab's actually going to take it 3-1. And wow, you know, Jab played really well. And StrifeCro, like you said, just wasn't really playing up to the standard that we're used to seeing. Or at least that's how you felt, right?
He played well, he didn't play exceptional, in my opinion.
Do you feel like Jab played exceptionally?
I feel like he didn't make any obvious mistakes. Yeah, I feel like he played better than StrifeCro in this series.
So that's it for today for the winners bracket. We got StrifeCro going down to losers. Jab is actually going to be playing Fibonacci in the future. And then we had Hot Form going forward. And he's going to be playing a Maz, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, you know, we got some amazing games still to come in the winners brackets, but we have some guys fighting for their tournament life in the lower bracket. So when we come back after a short break, we will be bringing you some matches from the lowest bracket. So don't go anywhere and stay tuned, guys.
Prepare yourselves. Coming this fall, a Hearthstone